level up. And this might seem excessive, like I could clearly put this, because it's going to be such a small function, I could clearly put it in my update loop and be fine. But what I'm thinking is, as I want to add to these components later, um, maybe just block them out differently. You have to do a lot less refactoring later, and it's pretty easy to find things. Like if I want to know where it's used in the code, Visual Studio does a great job of showing me where things are referenced, so I can go, oh, I want to see where that's called. Oh, it's right there. And then if it's, I'm like, oh, it's called here, let me see where it's defined right there. So you can jump around like that really, really easily. You don't have to worry about that. What I'm going to do is if current experience is greater than the XP to XP to next level. That's not. Sometimes a freaking auto typing just likes to go completely rogue on me and just do its own thing. And I'm like, that's not what I was trying to do. Goofy AI. It's so good. So if the current experience is greater than the experience of the next level, we want to level up. And then that level up is going to calculate the experience of the next level. So we hopefully shouldn't level up more than once in an update loop. I couldn't imagine it doing that. If it does, we'll have to do something else, but check for level up. Boom. So now we do the same updates that everything else does. We check if there's any player inputs. We check that we're facing the correct direction, and then we check for level up. And actually, I mean, enemies check that they're facing the right direction, but they use a different parameter in here. So that's why they each get their own separate thing, is because they're doing it, but they're doing it in a slightly different way. I mean, I could look for a way to like make it more universal, but I think I've got it abstracted far enough here. So let me actually, we're going to do another debug log, and we're going to do the level. And then I'm going to concatenate that. I'll put a space, and then I'll put EXP to next level. Boom. So that way I know when and how many times we're leveling up and everything like that. But how do we get experience? We don't have any way to get experience right now, so we do need to make a item that you can pick up that will be your experience. I'm going to go ahead and use this. A little bronze star. I'm thinking it might just be a tad too big. So let's make them small and cute. And then these are going to be like pickups, which we don't have code for a pickup yet. So let's go ahead and make a new script. I'm actually gonna go in here. I'll make a folder for pickups. And then I'm going to create a new C# script, and I'm going to say base pickup controller. because we're going to have health pickups, we're going to have experience pickups, we're going to have power ups, we're going to have, you know, and sky's the limit. You know, we can program it to do everything we want. I mean, maybe I want to have, oh, you know, treasure chests are going to be pickups, but maybe I want to have like equipment laying on the ground that you pick up. You know, all that stuff. This is going to be the core behavior, the base behavior for that, and then everything will inherit from that. Just like I've been doing with everything else. So I'm going to start by making my start and update loops overridable. Um, what did I do wrong? Oh yeah, it's virtual. It's virtual, not. It's like the first one's virtual, and then like the thing that inherits from it is the override. Um, I feel like that wasn't a thing in older programming languages. I could be completely wrong, but I feel like I remember um, not having to do that in the olden days. And I don't know why these are two different colors right now, but we'll just leave it alone. So we definitely want to do on trigger enter 2D um, because it's going to collide with our player at some point for the player to pick it up. Um, so we need to give the player the pickup. Can I make this overridable? Hmm. Public virtual. Virtual. If I could spell, maybe. Oh my god. You can like overwrite anything in Unity. I love this. This is where we could get really crazy bananas. Cause um so I definitely think that I want to destroy this dot game object after it's picked up. I want to check that it's the player actually. In fact, how do I do that in the enemy controller? Game object, yeah, okay, that makes sense. So I'm gonna do game object player and then player equals find object of type, right? I'll just good old control C, control V, baby. Ha ha. Yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna know our who or what our player is, and then we're gonna if collision equals player. If collision dot get component game object, and I almost everything's gonna have be a game object, right? So I don't gotta check that it has this component because if it's on the field in the game, it should be a game object. I can't think of a scenario where it wouldn't be. Of course, I'm not always right, unless I'm like arguing with somebody. Then no, I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding. I'm definitely not always right. Um, yeah. So let's do a quick debug dot log. You got the pickup. So remember, this is a generic one, so we're not giving experience yet. We just need to see if we touch it, does it destroy itself, and put that log out. Testing just little chunks at a time. Anyways, boop. Okay. And you know why we didn't collide with it? Because it doesn't have any freaking colliders. So let's get a rigid body 2D so we can do physics on it. Gravity scale, we're setting it to 0 because this is not a side-scrolling game. If I give anything gravity, it's going to drop automatically because Unity has some built-in physics for us. And then I want to go, let's do a circle collider. Radius of 0.5, maybe. I'm looking at that circle and it's just, well, maybe I should be, yeah, you know, I'll do 0.5. I'll be a little forgiving. And I just realized my sprite is not completely centered. So I need to go fix that. I'll do that later when I'm doing art stuff, because like, um, for right now it's fine. It doesn't really matter what it looks like, especially because when you look in like the actual like game screen, they're gonna be pretty small, so it won't be noticeable. It's like, I'm trying to think if I missed anything, but whatever. All right, let's oh. All right, all right. We're getting closer. We're getting closer. This is trigger because it's running on trigger enter. Although I could be wrong. Maybe I got this backwards, like the player needs to be a trigger for that to work, but I can just do a different. Yeah. Okay. I think I got that wrong. So on collision. That is what it's called, right? On collision enter 2D. The Unity message on collision enter 2D has an incorrect signature. Alright, so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy all that just outside of the thing, even if it... I'm going to do on collision enter 2D. Oops. I'm going to take all my junk here. I'll put it inside. Collision 2D does not contain a definition for get component. collision dot, oh, dot game object. Oh, that's actually easier. I like that better. Okay. Let's see if that works now. I think I need to make it not a trigger too. Huh. Oh my god, you know, I made the rookiest of rookie mistakes. That script is not attached to this game object. Base pickup controller. Oh my god. Yeah, I got the pickup. Now I don't necessarily want the enemies bumping into them, so I am gonna try it as a trigger again. Although I could make some like physics layers too, which is probably the more correct way to do it. Yeah. So I'll make some physics layers where they don't like. Oops, I need to stop checking that. Layers. Is it layers or tags? Anyways, this is preferences, physics. No, no. Oh no, no, no. It's not preferences. Project settings. This looks more correct. All right. Physics 2D. Layer collision matrix. So right now there's like default, transparent, raycast, water, and UI. These are like the built-in game ones. Um, yeah, and you can go and say what do I want all my stuff to be? When does it run on the fixed update? Um, which is good because you don't want this to be tied. Like if you run it to the regular update, um, it'll be tied to the frame rate of your screen. So people with faster frame rates are going to have faster physics, and that's bad. So you want it to stay on the fixed update, unless you want to go crazy. But that's what that does. I've never custom scripted it before, but I see that could probably be very useful if you have something like a command that pauses the entire game. You just want to pause that like clock from ticking. I imagine like AAA developers probably use their own custom stuff, but for us, for what we're doing, fixed updates, perfect. Anyways, it would be really helpful if I could add layers from this screen, but you can't. So I need to go over here, and I need to go edit layers, and then now I can add in some layers. So, oh man, I'm about to sneeze. Let's do players, enemies, pickups. And then we're gonna need a layer for bullets, I think. Yeah. So, and I'm gonna start at 10. Player, enemy, um, pickups, bullets. Is there anything else in the game I need to be worried about? Probably not at this time. So let's click out of that. And boom, they pop up over here. So this is like a little. Do bullets hit each other? I think not. Bullets don't hit pickups, but bullets definitely will have to interact with the player and the enemy. Pickups. So enemies do not touch the pickups. Pickups, I don't think they should. I mean, I don't think it matters if they interact with each other. Like, if there's two like occupying the same spot, they might like scoot apart, which wouldn't be bad because then like if a bunch of stuff drops in the same area, you can see everything. Um, but if I leave it unchecked, I think everything piles right on top of each other. So if there's like a treasure chest and an experience star and uh, a potion like all stacked on top of each other, you'll just pick them all up at the same time. When late game, when you start getting a lot of bad guys on the screen and there's a lot of like experience gems, you probably don't want them to interact with each other because like if they start interacting, they're gonna like push each other, and eventually like the enemies will push the experience into you, or not the enemies, but like the dead enemies would spawn experience that is gonna like push it into you. Like have you ever been to the arcade and there's like that machine that you put the pennies in, and then the pennies fall, and then there's that like thing that goes and it like pushes the pennies down. That's what I'm talking about. Um, so I don't think I personally want that effect. But if you're building something, like by all means, do what you gotta do. Um, enemies are definitely hitting the player. Enemies bumping into each other. I kind of like that. Um, there's never gonna be two players at the same time, so I don't have to worry about if that's checked or not. And I think that's good to go. So the only thing I really need to do now is make sure that I set my pickup as a pickup, and my enemies as enemies. And so a lot of times what's going to happen is when I go to make more enemies, I'm going to like literally just duplicate this guy, give it a new sprite, give it new stats, and bada bing bada boom, that's a new enemy. Um, but if I like have to like, I don't know, maybe I want to make like some crazy boss or something that just works so fundamentally different that it's not a good idea to copy and paste from my old created ones, then I need to remember to go in and change that layer manually for each new one I create in that way. Um, but all right, so we need to instantiate one of these bad boys. So let's go into our pickups. Let's get our experience pickup. Boom. I'm gonna get rid of that. And actually, I skipped a step. I mean, it's good that we prefabbed it, but I skipped a step because what I want to do now is create another script for an EXP pickup. Now, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this. Oops. And you know what? Public virtual void on pickup. Right, right. You with me, guys? And what we're going to do here is call on pickup. And in our EXP pickup, we're going to have a public int experience. And I can add those back in if I think I need them later. But what I think I'm going to do is just say public override. Oh, did I not make that a public virtual void? Yeah, so I can go base pickup controller. So on public override void on pickup, we're going to do the base pickup, but and the base pickup's gonna destroy it. So I think before that, because I want to make sure that all the code I want to do is done before it gets destroyed, just in case. I want things to run in the correct order. I want to give the player, so player dot, no, is there, this has got to be public for my inherited bad boy to see it. So player dot, I need to make a gain. I'm going to make a gain experience in our player controller. Void gain experience. And I'm going to say int experience. Current experience plus equals experience. And then you know what? What if we call check from level from here? Right, you follow me? Oh, not heck for level. Heck for level. So we check from level from here. And then we got that. But now, well, yeah, now I don't necessarily need to call this here because you're only going to need to know if you level up when you get more experience. And so if we're always funneling our experience gains through this function here, then that's the only time we're going to need to run that, I'm thinking. Like, I think this is going to give us some serious efficiency. Not that performance is going to be much of an issue. So player dot public void gain experience. Oh, I need to get the player controller. Yeah, public dot get component player controller gain experience equal to your experience. Bada bing, bada boom. For the time being, well, now what I'm thinking is when our enemies die, they will drop these and they will set an experience amount based on their level. So, you know, you kill a level 1 enemy, you get 1 experience. You kill a level 2 enemy, you get 2 experience, and so on and so forth. So that way, as you kill progressively stronger enemies, you get progressively more and more experience. With that being said, let's go back to our enemy controller. All right, so our enemy controller does not have a initialize stats yet. So I'm gonna do public override void initialize stats. I kind of want to keep everything in the same order. So that is initialize stats is after death animation. Public override void initialize stats. We definitely want to call the base one. And then we need to set the level equal to, what do we want to set the level equal to? Or do I want my enemy spawner to set the, you know, this might be a job for the enemy spawn controller, because we are doing, as we spawn an enemy, and this is already talking to the time tracker, and I think I want to borrow the display minutes. So this new enemy dot get component enemy controller dot level equals time tracker dot no, I'm not sure if I'm married to the idea of having it there, because let me look at my time tracker script. So these are all actually private. That's why I can't see the display minutes. But I could just make it public, right? Yeah, that might be a good thing to do. So give me 1 second.
Mic off. Mic on.
All right, I'm back. Okay. So where were we? I went ahead and made the display minutes public. Let's make the display seconds public too. Oops, that's previous seconds. That way it's nice and uniform. 1 second. All right, here we go. So yeah, I need to grab the instance of it, and that I actually don't do in this script. So yeah, I think but both the enemy and the player might need information from the clock, right? Like I might have a weapon that does something special when the number 4 is displayed anywhere on the clock, right? Like to be like a silly game mechanic, um, as an example. So maybe I want my base battle unit to actually public game object clock, and then here we're going to say the clock is equal to find object of type time tracker. And actually, do I want to go one step further? Yeah. So now when the enemy is initializing his stats, we're going to say level equals clock dot display minutes. So, oh, wait. But you're starting out in minute 0. So we actually want to say display minutes plus 1. So at minute 0, you're fighting level 1 enemies. After minute 2, you're fighting level 2 enemies, and so on and so forth. And then we're going to add other values to this eventually, like a difficulty modifier. Maybe in a different area, monsters are going to be twice as strong, twice as leveled. Whatever we can modify this math however we need to. Certain enemies, like boss enemies, are just going to be higher level naturally. A lot of things we can do with this. So that's a good way to initialize that there, I think. And I think like the battle units being able to access the information on the clock is going to be really good. I can't imagine a level that doesn't have a clock in it for any reason. So even if we make like an alternate clock that counts down instead of up, um, then I might have to do some tweaking. But I don't think I'm gonna make a level like that, like a Super Metroid Escape the Exploding Planet level. Oh, man, that might be cool though. But see, I don't want to bog down in all that yet. We're just gonna do it like this for right now, and possibly fix this a little bit later, doctor it up, make it a little more universal later. So now I want uh, enemy to have a game object experience drop. And this is when it dies, it's gonna drop this game object before it drops. So on death, let's look at my base battle unit again. On death, sets move speed to 0 and starts the coroutine for the death animation. That's fine, I think. After that, we want to instantiate the experience drop. So instantiate new exp drop equals instantiate exp drop needs to be a game object. Oh, capital game object. All right. So that's another thing I need to make sure. Oh my god, I clicked that stupid sign in box on Visual Studio and it's going to be like, "Oh, sign in." So I do want to go into my prefab and make sure that its transform is 0, 0. That way it spawns at 0, 0 instead of, a little to the boop, boop. I realize sometimes my hands are out of camera and I might need to, I don't know, maybe get like a more like a widescreen camera to like compensate for that. But that'll be future stuff if anybody cares. So now our enemies need to know what they're dropping. That's fine. So this is a public game object. Oh, here we go, all the way down here. So, pickups, EXP pickup, boom. And I think I need to, yeah, because this still has the base pickup on it. So I'm gonna remove that component, and I'm gonna add the EXP component, and then, all right. So it says EXP 0 here. That is something I want to make sure that we go into new XP drop dot get component exp pickup dot exp and set that equal to the level. So hopefully all this works as I intended, and we should gain right now at level 1. These guys should be dropping 1 experience for us. And so I'm going to really try and just... he didn't drop anything. Oh, it dropped 0, 0 directly. 5,250. Alright, something funky happened here. Oh, a bunch of them dropped all in the same spot at once, I think. Yeah. So the parent is going to be this dot transform dot position. And then we're gonna go we're gonna make its parent equal to null after that. The base pickup should destroy itself. I think there could be a problem though, because I do feel like that was a lot of level ups all at once, and I think maybe the enemy was like doing this instead of waiting for the coroutine to finish. So I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna put this in the coroutine so that we're dropping it as part of that death animation. I think that'll be a little bit more explicitly clear, a little bit less error prone. All right, let's see what happens. Let's kill this bad boy. All right, he dropped a star. I'm gonna go pick it up. Boom. Okay. These monsters are short, so the stars are spawning like a little bit high by comparison. Ah, it's starting to get hard to pick up experience. Um, yeah, it definitely like takes a second to spawn because it does it after the animation finishes. Um, one thing we definitely want to do is put in some kind of pickup radius because having to really step on them is not the most fun experience ever. Oh shoot! What the heck happened to my time? Uh, I must have really messed up that time tracker. Okay, so when the seconds equals 60, you go up a minute, and then the seconds equals 0. Um, I feel like that's not what happened. In the next update, it shouldn't run that because the display seconds no longer equals 0. Oh, you know what's happening is my my previous seconds should now equal lower. So the previous seconds should be brought down to 0 as well. Yeah, yeah. Um, Now let's just survive a minute and watch the clock and make sure it gets to a minute without doing anything too weird. Just doing my thing, killing slimes, you know. Alright, we're almost at a minute. And it went crazy again. Okay, so something's definitely up there because the display seconds did not go back down to zero. And it really should have. That's something I might need to just work through. But for now, experience pickups are looking like they're working. Um, I still need to do a little bit of tweaking, I think, to make it okay. Like I think for these short enemies, I want to have the position maybe down 0.5, and then that'll help that out. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and figure out what our next steps are in this game, and hopefully I'm shooting for Tuesdays after work, doing an hour long stream. So not yet like a real consistent schedule, but I am hoping to at least get on once a week. This being a weekend where I didn't have anything to do, we kind of got a bonus stream in. So yay us, woo! Um, anyways, hopefully, if you guys like what you see, you'll be joining me in the future, and we can keep working on this game and making the dream alive. All right, have a good day.